Hey everyone. So today we're going to be looking at Rahu and Ketu in your D9 chart. Now, Rahu and Ketu are such great planets because they show us uh, such a rich history and such rich stories of your past life, and it really shows of the stuff that you've kind of really love and really desire to get, and the things that you don't really care about and you're kind of more detached from. Right? So it shows like such a great story of like why you feel this way towards these items. Um, so yeah, wherever like K2 sits, this is where you kind of feel a bit more of a detachment and you're not as close to these particular things. And the feeling is more so like you've already had this thing in a past life and you kind of got used to it and it doesn't fulfill you anymore. So that's wherever K2 says. You can imagine it's like if you get a new phone, it's you feel great about it for the first like 3, 4 weeks. But after that, it's kind of like the excitement dies out, and then the phone just kind of becomes like your everyday thing. It doesn't feel like new or special anymore, and you get used to it. So you see, that's like the type of energy that K2 is, where it's like, well, okay, it's you don't really care for it anymore, right? And wherever Rahu sits, this is, well, you didn't really get this thing in a past lifetime. And in this lifetime, you really, really desire it and you want to get it. So you'll see that you'll actually work very hard to get this thing. That's where Rahu sits. So you'll see a big focus in life will revolve around and focus around this thing, getting this thing, and achieving this particular thing, wherever Rahu sits. Right? So that's the beauty of Rahu and Ketu. Now we're going to do this analysis in D9. And more specifically, we're going to analyze Rahu and Ketu with respect to your spouse. So we're going to see what your spouse is more detached from and what will they be more obsessed with, right? The Ketu shows the detachment and Rahu shows the obsession with. So we're going to do this analysis with your spouse and see those two things. So yeah, if you're interested in knowing everything about your spouse, you could check out the link below and you could get a full reading of for your uh for your spouse. And you can find out things like what their personality is going to be like, as well as like when you'll meet them, when you'll get married, how well will you guys get along, how happy will you be in your marriage, things like this. You'll find all of these out if you book a reading with us. And yeah, you'll also see even this stuff as well, like what exactly is your spouse longing to get and what are they more detached from? Yeah, so please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Oh, and one thing, one word of warning. When you're doing this, I would highly, highly recommend that if you guys are doing this with any software or if you go to some online place, make sure your chart is generated with the true positions of Rahu and Ketu. Because as the name suggests, it's their actual real placement. And a lot of websites online, they do it with the average placement, right? So, with any average, it doesn't show you in like the exact, like the average position. It just like gives you an estimate of where Rahu and Ketu is. It's not exactly where they are. And a lot of websites don't show their true position. So I would highly recommend using the true positions of Rahu and Ketu because that'll change the degrees of Rahu and Ketu, which could change the house and very realistically does change the house pretty often in this analysis. So be careful with that. If you want to know your placement of Rahu and Ketu with the true degrees, um, you could always like book a full PDF report of your chart down below. Click on the option that says Pava chart, and that'll lead you to get a full PDF report of everything about your chart. So yeah, so here we go. You'll see, let's start with Rahu and Ketu in the 1-7 axis like this. So you'll see with this analysis that Ketu is sitting in your spouse's first house, and Rahu is sitting in your spouse's seventh house, right? Because this house here is your spouse's first house. So what happens here? You'll see that your spouse generally feels a lot more detached in life. They're not always so sure about what they really want in life. Um, and you'll see actually that um, with this placement, in a past lifetime, your spouse has focused very hard and a lot on themselves. Like a lot of emphasis went into perfecting themselves and working on themselves, working on their body, making sure that they're healthy, and doing this type of thing. But you'll see that even after mastering this, they didn't get the satisfaction that they were looking for. So, there was some selfishness with this in a past lifetime. They're like, okay, I need to get this money and buy this food just for myself. And when doing this, they didn't feel the satisfaction. So this is why they get K2. That's why K2 comes into this position. That, well, okay, now they're going to be fully detached from themselves. And where's the focus going? You see, this is your spouse's seventh house. So what this means is that, well, uh, their focus in this life is actually going to be on helping others and especially getting married. You see, Rahu over here is actually great for marriage. Um, So, yeah, you'll see that your spouse is not so interested in themselves anymore, but actually very much interested in um, in getting married and looking after somebody else this time. That's the big focus here. All the selfishness has kind of gone from them in this lifetime. And they want to understand what is it like to actually live with somebody else? What is it like to deal with somebody else when you're not looking after yourself anymore? What's it like to actually do things for someone else and to live with somebody else? Um, yeah, so that's the big focus in this lifetime. You'll see if like the different signs also affect this. You see, let's say that uh let's say let's say Taurus and Scorpios here. You'll see that in a past lifetime, uh, your spouse was just focused on making money and getting food for themselves, but they weren't at all focused on the spouse. There was actually like a curse in a past lifetime, and they just were completely separated from the spouse. So you'll see in this lifetime, there's such an urge to get a spouse that actually you'll notice this. Your spouse in this lifetime, they would have dated quite a few other people and they would have said every time how bad all their previous relationships were. And it's because they were so much interested in getting into a relationship that they didn't actually properly think of pros and cons and like, oh, this person's kind of not so good for me, or they're actually very mean. Like they didn't think about this. All they thought about was like, oh, I just want to get married. That's all they thought about. So you'll see that that's the focus in this lifetime, like how things change now. So yeah, you'll see. Okay, that's Rahu. Let's say Rahu and Ketu come here. So you'll see with this placement, see Ketu comes into your spouse's second house. And Rahu goes into your spouse's eighth house in this particular case. So, what this means is that your spouse in a past lifetime, they were so focused on their own family, tending to their own family, and getting money and getting food to survive. This was the main focus in a past lifetime, and when they were so much focused on this, they couldn't really like learn a lot of the big secrets that come with this lifetime. So you'll see here that, well, when K2 comes here, that, well, they did have this focus in a past lifetime, but then they'll feel, in this lifetime, they'll just feel completely separated from their family because it's as if they've worked so hard for those guys and they didn't really get anything out of it. They didn't feel that fulfillment out of this. And so in this lifetime, they'll be separated or they won't talk as much with their family. There'll be some separation with the family in this lifetime. Either they won't live close to their family or or they won't talk much with their family. One of the two. Um, another thing that comes here, in a past lifetime, your spouse has definitely said some things that they've regretted. And so in this lifetime, you'll see that there's going to be some type of fear in them with regards to speaking because they feel like they might say the wrong thing. That'll get them in trouble. Uh, so you'll see that in this lifetime. So in this lifetime, they'll be a lot more quiet and a bit more reserved. They're not going to be the talkative type, and they're not going to be close to their family. So both of those things, they kind of just throw it out the window. Uh, so yeah, and so where's the focus come now in this life? See, now the focus comes on actually getting inheritance from their family. You see, they worked so hard for their family and then they didn't even get anything in return in a past lifetime. So in this lifetime, they want to get that inheritance that they should have gotten in a past lifetime, right? Because Rahu is in your spouse's eighth house. So they're going to get that inheritance, or they're going to try to get that inheritance in this lifetime. Not only that, they're actually going to learn a lot of occult topics and try to actually understand the real truths of this lifetime. You see, because a lot of things were kind of hidden from them, and um, they just couldn't really explore some of the hidden energy and hidden aspects of life that existed. So in this lifetime, they will try to learn these things, learn occult things like astrology, tarot card reading, numerology, um, tantric things. All of these things, they'll have an interest with these. So yeah. Um, you'll see that, let's say if this is in 3 and 9, then you'll see in a past lifetime they've definitely said things that they've regretted, and because this is the communication, they've written letters and they've even had conversations that they regret. So in this lifetime, they're just not even going to say anything. They're going to be much more quiet and a lot more introverted in nature. And what are they going to do instead? You see, Sagittarius comes here to your spouse's, this is your spouse's eighth house again, right? So they're going to diligently learn and get knowledge and wisdom about these occult topics and to learn about things like inheritance and processes that have to do with like death and reincarnation. They'll learn a lot about these things in this lifetime. So yeah, see Rahu and Ketu. So when Rahu comes into this house and this house, and you have Ketu here. So Ketu is in your spouse's third house. You'll see that in this lifetime that your spouse is not going to be very close with their siblings. That's one thing. They're not going to be close with their siblings, and in a past lifetime, they have spent a lot of time with their siblings. But again, there's some history there, and they just didn't get fulfillment. And um, so you'll see that uh, because of this, in this lifetime, they just won't even care with their siblings. They're going to be a lot more detached, or they're not going to talk as much to their siblings. Actually, and the same thing even goes with their neighbors as well. They're just not even going to talk much to their neighbor. You know what they're going to do? When they walk out of their house, if they see that their neighbor is like mowing the lawn or is outside, they're just going to go back in. Your spouse is just going to go back inside the house and wait for your neighbor to like leave or to, so that they could just walk out of the house like quietly and without any disturbance. I I've seen people do that, and it's like the funniest thing ever. Um, yeah. Even you know what I noticed? If your spouse has siblings, a similar thing even happens that, when one sibling goes to like the kitchen, like they won't even like go down at the same time. Um, Yeah, for whatever reason, they'll just like to be a lot more separated and like avoid more communication there. And so, where is this energy actually going? So, what do they desire here? You'll see that this is coming into your spouse's ninth house. So, you'll see that they desire a lot more uh, knowledge and a lot more like wisdom. Because you see over here as well, when Ketu is in this house, they've learned a lot of knowledge, but like it didn't work for them. It wasn't like true knowledge. It was more like trivia knowledge, where it's like knowledge is knowledge, but it's like it's not the most helpful of knowledge, right? So in this lifetime, they want to acquire some true wisdom. That's what they're looking for. Wisdom of life. Uh, so that's what they're desiring in this lifetime. And they actually desire to get a really good teacher who could show them the real meaning of life here. So let's say, let's put some signs here that, mm, here, let's put Aquarius and let's put Leo. So what it is in a past lifetime over here with K2, they were trying to learn about how to get a lot of money and how to boost their income and how to be more sociable. But you see, the knowledge that they were getting, it only went to a surface level and it was more like trivia knowledge. It wasn't like real knowledge that they could apply. And it wasn't definitely wasn't wisdom. It was just like book knowledge. But you see, in this lifetime, what they want to learn is okay, not just how to socialize and not how to get just income, but they want to learn how to be a leader. They want to learn how to be there for everybody instead of just randomly having like social events or talking with people. They want to be the one who leads. So they want to actually go to like find a teacher, find somebody who could teach them about these things. What is it like to be a true leader and lead these people instead of just talking with these guys? So yeah. Okay. So when Rahu for in that house and K2 here. So in this case, you see Ketu comes in your spouse's fourth house, right? This is spouse's fourth house. So what this means is that in a past lifetime, your spouse is very much interested in um, things having to do with the land. You know those people who are like very patriotic. You see, this person was patriotic in a past lifetime. But in this lifetime, they are not so much. And actually, even if they are patriotic in this lifetime, it'll be broken in this lifetime. They'll just completely get rid of it in this lifetime because something will happen. If K2 is actually in this fourth house, um, then um, and then you'll see that they won't be as patriotic. And so you'll see that in a past lifetime they were very much interested in like they cared for their land wherever they lived in a past lifetime. They did care for it, but some things happened, and this kind of led to them losing faith in their country and where they lived. And actually, at one point in their past lifetime, they did leave their country. They left it because something something about their country just didn't resonate with them. It didn't give them hope anymore. And um, what do you need like the land for? You need the land so you could like perform your karma, right? If the earth wasn't here, then it's like, well, you can't really do anything. You can't. How are you supposed to get over your past life karma? How are you supposed to experience life, right? So they weren't able to do this due to their country. The country was holding them back from accomplishing their karma and accomplishing what they really wanted to get done. So, for example, like, in their country, let's say if they lived by the water. Actually, something like that would happen if this is in Cancer. So you see, like, they would have lived by water, and maybe they would have wanted to do something more artistic, or they would have wanted to do something more related to manual labor. But they couldn't because in their land, the only jobs that existed was just what do you call it? Was just like fishing jobs, being next to the water. So they couldn't really do what they wanted to do in that lifetime. So in this lifetime, Rahu comes into the 10th house. And what does this do? It makes it so that in this lifetime, they're hyper focused on their career because they couldn't even get their job, like they couldn't do this properly. So in a past lifetime, so they really, really are putting all their effort into their job and into getting a career that they enjoy. And actually, it doesn't even have to fully be something that they enjoy. It's just that they want to work so bad, especially in something related to their field. Um, so they really want to work on that in this lifetime. So that's why in this lifetime, your spouse is very much focused on career. It is the focus. And yeah, they're not too concerned about they'll be like, okay, if this job if let's say if like the United States isn't allowing them to do like whatever their um do whatever career that they like, they will feel absolutely no regret in just leaving the US and going to a different country so that they could get their job done. 100% they'll do that. And that would be a big story of their life. So yeah. Now Rahu and Ketu. So in this lifetime, or well, in a past lifetime, you'll see that Ketu is actually coming into your spouse's fifth house. So what does this mean? It means that in a past lifetime, the big focus was on schooling and learning. Schooling, learning, leadership, being like a proper leader and leading by example. So you see that this is the big focus here, all of these things. And, what your spouse will feel is that, well, they don't really care for school too much in this lifetime. Um, they don't care for school, and it's because that they've learned so much. They spent so much of their time in school in a past lifetime and it didn't amount to what they wanted. They couldn't get the desired results from all the school learning. And it is, it's understandable to a point because it's like if you keep learning, learning, and learning, and then you can't even do anything with this knowledge, then it's like, well, what's the point? And that's exactly how they're going to feel about school. They're just literally not going to care. They're not going to be close to like they're barely even going to talk about school because they're like, well, school was just kind of whatever, and then they just wanted to get over with it. So yeah, they have to be careful with that. So when they weren't able to learn, you'll see that the desire in this lifetime, you see Rahu comes in your spouse's 11th house. So what does this mean? It means that Um, it means that, well, now in this lifetime, instead of learning, they want to earn money. Because in a past lifetime, that education didn't lead to the ultimate goal of actually earning money and getting stuff. So, um, yeah, the big focus is going to be getting raises at work, being able to get a job that deals with a lot of money. These are the people who are like, school is absolutely meaningless, but they're like, they can make millions without school. That's their thought process. Um, so yeah, let's say, for example, uh, let's say here, 6 and 12. In a past lifetime, they were learning a lot about medicines and about healing in a past lifetime. But you see, they just didn't get rewarded enough from this. So in this lifetime, you'll see that what they'll do, they'll even go to a foreign country, or they'll do a lot of uh like what's considered a bit odd uh things to get a lot of money here. For example, they'll do a lot of things related to like stocks and like making deposits and making like money grow from this in this lifetime. So yeah. And you see as well, I did say that they were very much into leading, like being a leader with K2 over there. But you see, in this lifetime, they're like, they don't care about leading people. They're like, the people could do whatever they want. They're like, in this lifetime, the only focus is instead just getting money from it. So yeah, okay. Rahu and Ketu. So, interesting placements that are here. You see, Ketu comes in your spouse's uh, sixth house, and Rahu comes in your spouse's 12th. So what does this mean? When Ketu is there, the big focus was on helping other people. And you'll see that they're doing a lot of services towards other people, like physical services as well. Like doing like physical favors and doing manual labor to help people, as well as also learning with medicines. This was a big focus in their past lifetime, but you'll see in this lifetime, they're gonna be like, well, they're not gonna really care about this because they're gonna be like, well, people could probably help themselves. And you know another thing, in a past lifetime, they were very much very competitive. But in this lifetime, they're not gonna be competitive to the same degree. Like their competitive ability, like unless like Mars is here or aspects this K2, then they're not going to be very competitive. They're going to be like, well, they were competitive in a past lifetime, but where did that get them? It didn't serve them enough. So in this lifetime, they're just going to be like, well, these competitive games and serving other people, and this it got them nowhere. So they're going to be detached from that in this lifetime. And so they're going to be like, well, these physical works and all this competition didn't do anything. What are they going to do instead? Well, you see, they worked so hard here by doing favors and doing labor for other people. So here they're going to desire to sleep because this is their 12th house of sleep and rest, right? And so they're going to desire that. And they were actually, not only that, they're actually going to desire like a lot more bedroom life activities as well. Because you see, in a past lifetime, they were so much focused on doing this physical work and to serve other people that they kind of left their bedroom life and their rest and their like sleep. They left that all behind. So in this lifetime, they're going to be just focused on these things. Learning about spirituality as well will also come here. Um, and yeah, so they're going to catch up on their sleep in this lifetime as well. and catch up on all the bedroom activities that they definitely didn't get a chance to do in that past lifetime. So yeah, um, that's what you'll see there. Okay. Now this one's interesting. Rahu and Ketu. So you'll see with this placement, Rahu and Ketu here. This is Rahu is sitting in your spouse's first house, and Ketu is sitting in your spouse's seventh house. Now, what this means is that your spouse was so much focused on helping out um, their spouse in a past lifetime that they couldn't even focus on themselves. All they did was just tend to their marriage in a past lifetime. And at no point did they really get a chance to kind of get their own identity out of this. And so your spouse will also feel like they don't want to get married much in this lifetime as well. Actually, even this combination, even you won't be too interested in marriage. There are exceptions, of course, if they're like if depending on Jupiter's aspects and Venus as well, but and the sign. But yeah, you see that your spouse just they didn't get to live their life. They used their life to focus on their marriage. So yeah, in this life, they're going to be a lot more detached from their marriage, or they're not going to be as like loving and as involved in it. And so, where's their focus going to go instead? It's going to go here in Rahu in the first house. Their focus is just going to go on themselves. They didn't get this chance to work on themselves. And so, in this lifetime, they will. They'll focus on themselves and they'll focus on improving themselves and actually getting to do the things that they missed out in a past lifetime. So let's say here, if the sign is like this, they were serving their spouse in a past lifetime because their spouse's health kind of held them back. Their spouse was very sick in a past lifetime, and they had to constantly tend to their spouse. Now, in this lifetime, they just want to go away. They want to go and visit different parts of the world instead of just being held up at home and being like um and dealing with medicines and sick people. They want to travel the world and they want to go see the outside world and they want to see what exists out there. This is their big focus. They want to see and live everything that there is in life in this universe because they felt like they're being held back. um so yeah. um You see, like if there's a sign like this, then they were focused so much on helping their spouse's career in a past lifetime. And that became the big focus. But in this lifetime, they want to focus on their own happiness because they didn't get this. You know, um, dealing with their spouse's work was very draining and they didn't enjoy it. But in this lifetime, they want to focus on being happy. What is it that they could do to actually be happy and live a happy life and be able to rest? That's another thing. You see, fourth house is also about resting and sleep. And you see, Capricorn is hard work and Cancer is resting. So they want to get a little bit of a break. And so, yeah, they're going to be not as hard of a worker in this lifetime because they want that break. So, yeah, see, uh, Rahu, Ketu. Okay. So you'll see here that in a past lifetime, you see Ketu goes to your spouse's, this is their eighth house. They were so much focused on providing you food and like providing their spouse food and providing and like tending to their in-laws in their past lifetime and and making sure that their spouse had money, food, resources, all of these things that they were focused on, but they didn't get to focus on their own resources. You see, so in this lifetime, you'll see that this is why they'll really like trying a lot of different foods. They'll like having a lot of foods from different cultures and different religions and different backgrounds. They just want to try everything because they're so fed up with the food that they had to eat last time, and because they only ate according to what their partner had wanted. But now they want to experience all the different food that exists elsewhere. So yeah, um, you'll see that as well. And they're also focused on their spouse's money. But you see, in this lifetime, they want to make money of their own. So a big focus is going to be to earn a lot of money and to be rich and to make their money grow, to make their assets grow in this lifetime. Um, so yeah. Um, Yeah, so you'll see that. Let's see, Rahu and Ketu. So when Ketu comes here, this is your spouse's ninth house. So when Ketu's in your spouse's ninth house, what this means is that um, your spouse was very much learning a lot about religion and like learning school and learning proper manners and learning how to behave according to the society. So you see, they had to do this, but they didn't feel like they were allowed to really express themselves because when trying to behave according to how society wants you to behave, they lost themselves in this process. They became somebody that they weren't. And so in this lifetime, you'll see that they're going to be very detached from their religion and um, the religion and kind of like the societal norms. They're going to be detached from these things because that's what held them back in a past lifetime. And this time, they're going to try and find their own hobbies. They're going to be doing the things that they actually want to do in this lifetime. They're going to say the things that they want to say. They're going to write the things that they want to say and not just say what society wants them to say or use words that the society expects them to use, but they're going to actually speak their mind this time. This is why they're going to be extremely good with like paperwork and writing in this lifetime because they had all this bottled up words in their mind, and in this lifetime they're actually going to share it out, and they're going to be a lot more free with that. Um, so yeah. You'll also see that in this case, they're going to be detached from their father. Because again, there's some history here that they have with their father that they're not as close. And from doing all of this stuff with their father, they didn't really get to focus on a part of themselves. They sacrificed a part of themselves for the benefit of their father. So in this lifetime, they're going to work on their own skills instead of working to help their father. They're going to perfect their own skills, their own hobbies, and they're going to do more fun activities for themselves and what they deem to be more fun. So yeah. So let's say if this is Gemini here, then especially it's detached from religion, and they want to do more like writing and yeah, they want to do a lot more writing in this lifetime and really express the writing this time. If this was Taurus, then in this lifetime they really want to express their creative work and um, their creative and artistic abilities. So yeah. Okay. Now you have Rahu and Ketu. So Ketu comes in your spouse's 10th house. So what does this mean if you have this with this placement? If in your D9 you see K2 here, what this means is that your spouse is going to be a lot more detached from their career in this lifetime. You see, in a past lifetime, they worked so hard for their job. And they said, well, what was the point of working so hard when it didn't benefit them? This wasn't what they were expecting. So they work so hard, and it's as if all the fruits of their labor didn't give them what they had wanted. So it kind of left them like empty-handed in a sense, and it didn't fulfill their desire. They worked so hard and got nothing from it. So in this lifetime, what is their desire? In this lifetime, they want to be able to rest because Rahu comes in their your spouse's fourth house. They desire to rest, and actually they're looking for happiness because they work so hard that they forgot to stop and smell the roses. They didn't get to enjoy the process of their life. So in this lifetime, they're going to take life a lot more easier now. You'll see one big characteristic of this is your spouse would hate like 9 to 5 jobs, like regulated jobs that have a set amount of hours. They're going to hate this because they like to rest in between with their work. Um, so yeah, they're going to be very fond of resting and just like they want to find happiness in their own terms. So yeah, that is what they're really searching for is true happiness and peace. Um, so yeah, okay, Rahu and Ketu. So this is an interesting combination. So this is your Ketu goes in your spouse's 11th house. So what does this mean? This means that, well, your spouse was earning a lot of money, and they very much were rich. But I think it takes somebody, this doesn't really sound believable, but they were actually like very rich to the point where they like just weren't interested in money anymore. So they weren't interested in money, and you'd have to ask like the rich people where when they're so rich that it's like the money doesn't fulfill them anymore, and like there's more to life to that. And this is, I think, this combination is the true embodiment of that feeling where money isn't everything in life. Is That's this combination because they were rich and now they like this money didn't bring them happiness. Even though they could buy and get everything, you see, they still lost a lot of things, and money was not able to bring those things back, right? If you're depressed, money is not able to just cure you. If your family member dies from an accident, money is not able to bring them back. And this is the type of thing that they were realizing here. Um, And actually, if you want to see that trauma, look at this. Look at the sign. So let's say here is the sign of uh, Cancer. So you see, in a past lifetime, they had so much money, but actually, their mother had passed away in a past lifetime. And this is when they realized that money couldn't bring them back. And so, when they get to that level, then it's like, well, what do you do then? You're rich, but it's still not fulfilling to you. So what they're looking for um, is actually here. This is your spouse's fifth house. Here they want to learn more things. They want to get more knowledge. They want to go to school and learn things. Money didn't fulfill them, but maybe knowledge will be able to do this. They want to get like knowledge and learn new things that may give some satisfaction of their soul. Because you see, fifth house is the natural house and sign of the sun, right? And Leo, which is your soul. So money didn't fulfill them, and this is where they're actually desiring. to get a fulfillment on the soul level and to find happiness that's in their heart as well. So they're not looking for happiness outside of them anymore. And this is something you'll see from saints that they often say this, that true happiness comes from within and not without. And this is the lesson that they've learned in a past lifetime and that they're in the middle of learning in this lifetime that, well, they want to get that knowledge of their soul and their true self. That is what they're searching for. Um, so yeah, you'll see that in this lifetime they'll have like blocks to money and they just like money won't come easily to them, but this is what they're searching for, like true fulfillment in life. So it's a very noble placement, I would say. So yeah. The last one, Rahu and Ketu. So this is your spouse's 12th house. You'll see that in a past lifetime that uh, your spouse was they weren't the hardest of worker, I'd say. They were a lot more like not lazy, but a lot more like yeah, they just weren't a hard worker. So you'll see that there was that. And these people often left I could actually tell you that they did leave their hometown in a past lifetime. And so, they went to learn about things from different cultures and different countries, and they were a lot more lazy. But you see that again, still these things didn't bring satisfaction. Going to a different country didn't do it. And so you'll see that in this lifetime, what they really want to do, instead of being lazy, they want to try and serve people. They want this feeling of being useful to other people. Because could you imagine what it's like if people tell you that you're useless? Like, do you know like that feeling that you get? This is the feeling that exists within them. And they want to prove themselves that they're actually useful and that they can do things, that they have skills, and that they could be of service and of benefit to other people. That's what they want to prove. Because last lifetime, they weren't a hard worker, but in this lifetime, they'll very much, you see, this is your spouse's sixth house. They're very much more competitive and they want to get things done as well. Um, so yeah, they want to yeah, they want to be useful and be of service. So they'll actually work very hard in this lifetime and they'll be competitive to actually get things done. Um, so yeah, there you go. There's Rahu and Ketu in all 12 houses of your D9. And please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And again, if you want to know everything about your relationship, including where you can meet your spouse and what your spouse would be like, what their appearance would be like, where you would meet them, you could check out the link in the description and in the pinned comments and for a consultation with us. And yeah, thank you.